In what the writer and polymath James Weldon Johnson called the Red Summer of 1919, race riots swept through cities across the country. And here, in this regional city between two rivers with what was then, outside of Los Angeles, the largest urban population of blacks west of the Mississippi, the county courthouse was set ablaze by a mob of 5,000 angry whites bent on lynching two black men, Boyd Pinckney and Evans Pratt. Pinckney and Pratt worked in one of the city's meatpacking warehouses and had been arrested for the assault of a 12-year-old white girl who recanted as an adult, confessing that the men had done nothing more than say hello to her when she called out to them. The two friends were hanged from a tree outside the courthouse, their bodies skinned and burned before being thrown in the river, turned over in the wash of paddle boats and caught up on snags, rising like disembodied limbs in the muddy shallows that spread out from the bankside, festering with mosquitoes amid a weltering stench of decay. That same day, Morgan Priest Wright, the 60-year-old mayor and gentleman farmer who had been elected in the previous year on a reformist plank, was lynched for trying to intervene on behalf of the men, whom he and a number of local officials believed to be innocent of any crime. The courthouse was set ablaze, and Wright fled in his blue Studebaker, driving out of town and taking refuge on his farm, where he sheltered in the stone storm cellar beneath his house with the tenants who worked his land. History is silent about the exact chain of events that saw Wright and one of the farmers, 25-year-old George Freeman, pulled from the cellar and hanged from a cottonwood tree next to Wright's house, which was subsequently set alight by parties unknown. Freeman was dressed in women's clothes, and the two men were tied together facing each other, left hanging after the mob retreated. Freeman's brother John and sister-in-law Lottie, who were also Wright's tenants, had been away from the farm at the time of the riots, visiting Lottie's extended family in the next county. Driving home in Wright's Model T, which he had lent them, they could see smoke from some distance and, having heard news of the riots, feared the worst. They could not have guessed that both their landlord and brother would be dead, or that the house where they had been discreetly entertained on several occasions would no longer be standing. By the time John and Lottie arrived home, Wright's house had burned to the ground, while their own small bungalow, down a hill and on the edge of the farm, remained standing and untouched, save for a few broken windows. Looking up at the 40-foot cottonwood tree in which George and Mr. Wright hung dead, bodies tied together and twisting as the wind blew up into a late summer thunderstorm, John told Lottie to wait in the house with their children while he investigated. As John walked away from the hanging tree and the ruins of the mayor's place, back down the hill toward the barn, intending to fetch a ladder so he could cut free the two bodies,